Yes, it's 5 a.m. on Saturday, July 12th, 2025, but I really do need to show you this. I just happened to wake up, scan my phone before I was going to go back to bed. We gotta talk. Here's what we know. Earlier this week, Donald Trump and whoever runs Truth Social put up essentially a wall between those of us that have Truth Social accounts and those that do not. Historically, Donald Trump's Truth Social posts were available to anyone. All you had to do was Google Donald Trump Truth Social, open his profile, and you could scroll anything he posted. About 2 days ago now, all of that stopped, and you now are met with a login screen or a sign-up screen. In the evening hours of July 11th, 2025, Donald Trump allegedly posted this message to Truth Social, which was then screenshotted and shared by members of the Trump cabinet as well as just general supporters who have access to Truth Social. We'll talk about what it says in a minute, but as you notice, at the bottom of that screenshot, there is no date, no time. This is what happens when you click on the image. As you can see, no date, no time. Here's another example from the account Trump War Room. Again, no date, no time. And this one has the date and time, but it's because this message is a photo that someone has posted to their own X account. If you feed it to AI, this is what comes up. This is just from a reverse image search. This is the Google AI overview, and it does not list a date. It just lists the main points. So I said to myself, wait a second, if things are being documented, recorded in history, they have to go into the Federal Register, which is a place where they collect everything. It's congressional records and approvals, it's executive orders, it's content that is published by federal agencies, including the executive branch, which I know is not an agency, but the executive branch is part of the federal government, and Donald Trump is that executive branch. Now, let's be clear, the Federal Register has to be updated daily, every working day of the federal government. That's typically Monday through Friday, but of course there's sometimes exceptions for things like holidays. So it's not like they're like updating this once a year or once a month. It's all the time. And code strictly states that each document submitted for publication in the Federal Register that includes an effective date or time period should either set forth a date certain or a time period measured by a certain number of days after publication in the Federal Register. When a document sets forth a time period measured by a certain number of days after publication, the Office of the Federal Register staff will compute the date to be inserted in the document as set forth in paragraph B of this section. This is why when Donald Trump signs an executive order, you see the date appear at the top. And within that executive order, you're always going to see things like dates and times that things are no longer effective, or he'll say something about like within 60 days of this order, something else is going to happen. So there's always details. And this is extremely concerning because Donald Trump's Truth Social post that keeps getting circulated without a date and time says, "I am on my way back from Texas and watched in disbelief as thugs were violently throwing rocks and bricks at ICE officers while they were moving down a roadway in their car and or official vehicle. Tremendous damage was done to those brand new vehicles. I know for a fact that these officers are having a hard time with allowing this to happen in that it shows such total disrespect for law and order. Therefore, I am directing Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem and Border Czar Tom Homan to instruct all ICE Homeland Security or any other law enforcement officer who is on the receiving end of thrown rocks, bricks, or any form of assault to stop their car and arrest these slime balls, using whatever means is necessary to do so. I am giving total authorization for ICE to protect itself just like they protect the public. I never want to see a car carrying a law enforcement officer attacked again. Authorization immediately granted for arrest and incarceration. Thank you for your attention to this matter." Our president is posting what he is considering to be official communications on Truth Social, a social media platform that he owns and that he has now blocked from the American people unless they sign up for an account. It is not dated, it is not timed, it cannot be entered into the Federal Register according to code. On top of that, it includes all law enforcement officers, It includes the idea that you can just arrest and incarcerate someone without due process. And it says, quote, using whatever means is necessary to do so. Meaning, if a officer felt that they were under attack or determined that they were being assaulted, they could use lethal force, and or they could take that person into custody and just throw them in a jail cell, or I guess detention center or whatever. There are no clearly defined rules here. So the question remains, in the court of law, in our own version of the Nuremberg trials, would this hold up? There's no date, there's no time. It's not in the Federal Register.